بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. There are days that pass unnoticed, slipping through your fingers like sand, forgotten before the next sunrise. And then, there are days that hold the power to rewrite your destiny. What if I told you that today is one of those days? What if I told you that this very Friday, this first Friday of Ramadan, could be the turning point of your entire existence? But let me ask you, how many Fridays have you wasted? How many golden opportunities have you let slip away, thinking that life would always give you another chance? How many times have you stood in prayer, reciting words with an absent heart, while your soul screamed for something deeper? What if today is your last chance? What if this Friday holds a secret that could change everything? What if this is the moment Allah has been waiting for? The moment you have been waiting for? A divine key has been placed in your hands. But will you use it, or will you throw it away? There are moments in life when the soul feels heavy, burdened by the weight of sins, drowned in regrets, suffocated by the silence of unanswered prayers. Have you ever felt that loneliness, that emptiness, that fear of being forgotten by Allah? Have you ever stood in the darkness of your room, staring at the ceiling, wondering if your prayers would ever be heard? If your sins were too great to be forgiven? If your heart had strayed too far to return? But then, like a beacon of mercy, comes Al-Jumu'ah, the day that Allah has honored above all others. Sayyid al-Ayyam, the master of days. A day when the gates of the heavens are opened wider, when the mercy of Allah pours down like rain upon the dry lands of our weary hearts. And when this day falls within Ramadan, the month where even the hardest of hearts can be softened, where the chains of shaitan are broken and the doors of Jannah are unlocked, then know, O servant of Allah, that you are standing at the doorstep of a divine opportunity. النبي قال: خير يوم طلعت عليه الشمس يوم الجمعة فيه خلق آدم وفيه أدخل الجنة وفيه أخرج منها. رواه Muslim. The best day on which the sun has risen is Friday. It was on this day that Adam was created, entered paradise, and was expelled from it. Muslim. Do you see, my dear brothers and sisters? The cycle of humanity began on a Friday. It was on this day that Adam alayhis salam was honored by Allah, placed in Jannah, but also on this day that he was expelled, descending into this world of trials. And today, on this first Friday of Ramadan, you are given the same test. Will you rise towards Allah, or let yourself fall further into heedlessness? But tell me, how many Fridays have passed you by without change? How many Ramadan nights have you seen without shedding a single tear for your sins? How many blessed hours have you wasted, thinking you still have time, while your grave waits silently for you beneath the earth? Allah says, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. The month of Ramadan in which was revealed the Quran, a guidance for the people and clear proofs of guidance and criterion. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:185. But what use is this guidance if it sits on your shelf, untouched, collecting dust? What benefit is the Furqan, the criterion, if you do not use it to distinguish between right and wrong in your life? Ya Abdallah, Ya Amatallah, what will you do with this first Friday of Ramadan? Let it slip away like sand between your fingers? Or will you seize it like a drowning man clutches onto a rope thrown from a ship? Because make no mistake, This Friday could be the day Allah rewrites your destiny. This Friday could be the day your sins are erased. This Friday could be the moment the heavens hear your name and respond, "Here is a servant who has finally returned." What will you do? The secret power of worship on this day. Tell me, when was the last time you felt truly at peace? Not the kind of peace that comes from temporary distractions, but the kind that settles deep in your heart, like the stillness of the night before Fajr. When was the last time you raised your hands in dua, not just out of habit, but with a heart that trembled, a voice that cracked, eyes that overflowed with tears, because you knew that Allah was listening? Too many of us live in a storm, lost in the noise of this world. We chase wealth, yet our souls remain poor. We seek love, yet our hearts remain empty. We drown in sins, yet we wonder why our dua feels unanswered. But today, this very day, Allah has given you a door, a secret, a key to unlock the peace you've been searching for. Allah has given you Friday, a day when the earth itself changes, when the angels gather, write down the names of those who rush to prayer. A day when the heavens open and light descends upon the hearts that seek it. But how many of us know the power of this day? How many of us truly use it? النبي قال: من قرأ سورة الكهف يوم الجمعة أضاء له من النور ما بين الجمعتين. رواه الحاكم. Whoever recites Surah Al-Kahf on Friday, a light will shine for him between the two Fridays. Al-Hakim. Light. Imagine walking through this life surrounded by divine light, not the artificial glow of this world. Tell him, because he already knows. And when you rise from your prayer, you will feel it. A lightness, a peace, a healing that no human could ever give you. Because tahajjud is not just a prayer, it is a lifeline. There will come a time when you will wish you had prayed just one more night, one more sujood, one more whispered dua in the silence of the world. But by then, the chance will be gone. So what will you do tonight? Will you sleep through the mercy of Allah, or will you rise and answer His call? There are moments in life when the walls feel like they are closing in, when the weight of this world presses so heavily upon your shoulders that even breathing feels like a burden. You look around, searching for an escape, but every door is locked. Every road leads to another dead end. Have you felt that before? That helplessness, that crushing despair, when no one understands what you're going through, when no one hears the silent screams of your soul. But listen carefully. There is a door that never closes, a road that never ends, a promise that never fails. وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. And whosoever fears Allah, He will make for him a way out, and He will provide for him from sources he never could imagine. Surah At-Talaq 65:2-3. Tell me, do you believe this promise? Do you believe that Allah sees you? Does He know your struggles? That He is preparing a way out for you right now, even if you cannot see it? Look at the life of Yusuf alayhi salam, betrayed by his own brothers, thrown into the darkness of a well, sold as a slave, imprisoned for a crime he didn't commit. Years of hardship, years of waiting. Yet in the end, Allah elevated him to power, honored him, and reunited him with his family. Why? Because even in the darkest of nights, Yusuf alayhi salam ever lost trust in Allah. And what about you? Will you let your faith collapse at the first sign of difficulty? Will you believe in Allah only when life is easy, but doubt Him when things become hard? Tell me, who else will you turn to? When your pockets are empty, when your debts are growing, when the burden of providing for your family is too heavy, who else can lift that weight but Allah? وَإِنْ يَمْسَسْكَ لَلَّهُ بِضُرٍّ فَلَا كَاشِفَ لَهُ إِلَّا هُ. If Allah should touch you with hardship, none can remove it except Him. Surah Al-An'am, 6-17. Maybe you are struggling in your marriage. Maybe you are longing for companionship, yet every door to marriage remains closed. Maybe your health is failing, and no doctor has a cure. Maybe the pain in your heart is so deep that you no longer know how to smile. But know this, Allah has never abandoned you. He has heard every cry. He has counted every tear. He has written your relief before your hardship even began. But you must trust Him. You must be patient. You must keep making dua, even when it feels like no one is listening. You must keep praying, even when your heart is breaking. You must keep walking, even when you cannot see the way ahead. Because the story of your life is not over yet. And if you trust in Allah, if you hold on to Him in the darkness, then He will open a door for you from a place you never expected. So tell me, will you trust in Him now, or will you wait until it's too late? The secret to having all your prayers answered on Friday. Have you ever stood before Allah, hands raised, heart trembling, eyes filled with tears, and begged for something, only to feel like your dua was met with silence? Have you ever whispered to the heavens, Ya Allah, are you listening? Have you ever felt like your prayers have been locked away, unanswered, forgotten? But let me tell you something, my dear brothers and sisters. There is a secret, a hidden moment, a divine opening, where the barriers between you and the heavens are lifted, a moment where the angels rush to record your words, where your whispers are carried directly to the throne of Allah. And that moment is on Friday. النبي قال: في يوم الجمعة ساعة لا يوافقها عبد مسلم وهو قائم يصلي يسأل الله شيئا إلا أعطاه إياه. رواه البخاري ومسلم. There is an hour on Friday in which if a Muslim asks Allah for something, He will grant it. Bukhari, Muslim. Tell me, how many Fridays have passed you by, wasted? How many times have you let this golden opportunity slip through your fingers, drowning in distractions, forgetting that this could have been the day your life changed forever? Do you know what this means? It means that there is a moment on this day, a single hour, where every dua is answered, where every heart that seeks Allah is met with a response. But are you seeking it? The scholars say that this moment is most likely in the last hour before Maghrib, that final moment of the day when the sun begins to set, when the sky is painted with shades of gold and red, when the world slows down. That is when the heavens open. But where will you be? Scrolling through your phone, lost in conversations, waiting for another Friday to come? Or will you be among those who seize this moment? Will you sit with your head bowed, whispering the deepest desires of your heart? Will you plead for the sins you regret, the dreams you hold, the guidance you need? Will you let the tears fall, knowing that Allah is listening? Allah says, وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمُ ادْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ. Call upon me, I will respond to you. Surah Ghafir 40-60. But tell me, do you believe this promise? Or have you allowed Satan to deceive you into thinking your prayers don't matter, that your sins are too heavy, that your past is too dark, that your pain is too much? No. Listen to me. Your Lord is Al-Mujib, the one who responds. The same Allah who split the sea for Musa alayhi salam. The same Allah who saved Yunus alayhi salam from the belly of the whale. The same Allah who restored Yaqub alayhi salam's vision after years of tears. He is the same Allah who is waiting to answer you. But will you call upon Him? Will you sit on that prayer mat before Maghrib, raising your hands, knowing that this could be the moment that your destiny changes, that your sins are erased, that your pain is lifted? Or will you waste it, like the Fridays before? Tell me, what will you do when the sun sets this Friday? Will you let your dua rise with it? Or will you watch another golden opportunity slip away? And now, my dear brothers and sisters, the choice is yours. How many more Fridays will you let slip away? How many more blessings will you ignore? How many more doors will you walk past, unaware that behind them, Allah had written mercy, risk, and forgiveness for you? This Friday is not just another day. It is an opportunity, a call, a moment where the heavens open and Allah waits for you to return. So what will you do? Will you rise? Will you answer His call? Or will you wait until it's too late? Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, wa Allahu Akbar.